It's football season. That means we are getting into the dream world of the gambler. Everybody assumes that they are going to win lots of money. How their team is going to be a champion, either number one in college or win the Super Bowl. Welcome again to another episode of the 1% in Recovery podcast, where we encourage you to laugh every day, to work hard in recovery, relationships, your job, business, school, just work. And to love unconditionally. Put much more love out there and watch much more love return to you. Now, keep encouraging people to download the Recovery Growth Scorecard. This is a scorecard which introduces natural dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, oxytocin. Gives you most of these things are free, which you can do every day to start building up your self-esteem. Where? Lifeiswonderful.love website, Love. And see, these natural hormones will get us because we all want to start recovery on our own. I get it. So did I. But here's a growth scorecard to really get you going, to thinking about what you can do every day as you start to contemplate, which you should, recovery. So just go to the website, lifeiswonderful.love, Love, download it, continue recovery. Let's get on with the episode. Yes, it's football season. It is mid-August. And if it was back in the early 80s when I was in high school, that meant two-a-days. That means we were getting ready for school, we were getting ready for football, and we were getting ready for the games. And that means the same thing now. Now school seems to be starting earlier all around the country. Now in Texas, we kind of start more towards the second week instead of the mid-third week like we used to. So football's already about to have its first games. High school, college, pro. Obviously high school and college will start, and then pros the week after Labor Day. But everyone gets so excited thinking that they're going to now know how to gamble with football. You don't. And football is the worst sport to gamble on because that is the one sport that Vegas knows more than any other sport. That means that they're much more on the money in terms of the lines, and now that they have owned all the data that the colleges and the pros have now sold to like Genius Sports. It's also owned by partly 10 to 15% by the NFL. That they're going to be more on the number in terms of all the prop bets. So you're never going to have an edge win. All of them are going to go down to the wire where you're going to be knowing whether you're winning the game, the total, the prop bet, whether you're doing some type of live bet, and you're not going to win. It's just a fact. It's just getting harder and harder, and they're going to manipulate, and you're out money. And then you're going to wonder, what are you going to do? That's why you have the 1% Recovery Podcast, a free podcast about recovery, about the steps of how to actually stop gambling, about how to change your life, how to live better, how to tell you the truth about gambling. Not the lies that they tell you. The lies that they tell you is that you can gamble responsibly. The lies that they'll tell you is that gambling is entertainment. The lies that they'll tell you that gambling is fun. First of all, you can't gamble responsibly just as the same way as you can't shoot heroin responsibly. It's impossible. And the product that they have now out, because it's not just the games, which was should have been back in 2018 when New Jersey sued the NCAA. It should be that, and maybe a total. But no, they introduced all these prop betting. They introduced all these live betting, micro betting. Now with the prediction markets, now you're going to see so much more with Kalshi and then all the different lawsuits between state court and federal court. You just don't even know where you're going with this. So that kind of tells you, why are all these companies, why are all these rich individuals pushing gambling? And then you have all these ex-athletes, all these entertainers telling you that you should be on this prop bet app, you should be on this sports betting app, you should be on this prediction market app. Guess what? They're getting paid to say, hey, you should do this. And some of them do gamble, but they're more than likely they're bankrolled by the app, by the casino. That's how much of a farce it is. And then obviously the biggest one is going to be Drake, and you got all the other ones that just fall straight in line. They already know this. So when they win, they brag about how much they won because that gets everyone excited. Just like they announce some person will win the Powerball. Like last Christmas Eve, a woman in Arkansas won $1.8 billion. Currently now someone else just bought $1 billion, but they're in a state where they can be anonymous. But they're still going to have to pay. And then people don't realize you don't win all that money because 55% immediately goes to taxes. But it's just the lure of easy money. Same thing why people get into drugs. Drug money. Why do you want to be a mule? Why do you want to sell drugs? Why do you want to be a dealer? Because sometimes it's because of circumstances. There's no other way to generate quick cash. Same reason people get into sex work. Hey, I get it. Why people, I don't question why people try to get their money, their paper, their bag. They do what they need to do, but there are consequences if you get caught. That's the unfortunate thing. But the thing is, now with all this legalized gambling, they're not even like alcohol or the beer, wine companies, liquor, because they're going to a bar, you're going to a supermarket, you're going to actually have to purchase the alcohol. Here with the gambling, they're making it so easy because they're putting it on a screen, they're putting it on your phone. That's why 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 51% of all 16-year-olds have gambled in the last year. You're going to continue to see this destruction, not only of money, and some of these, and it doesn't matter if you have money, you don't have money. Some of the people with no money saying that they need the money to move ahead. And then you have kids that have a lot of money, private school right here in Houston, or rich private high schools where their parents give them money for stocks or give them money in maybe in a trust. And then they go on and keep gambling and keep moving on. And then they win and lose. And then they use the gambling and the stock money either to bet on options or crypto, or they move it over to stocks, or they play poker. It's just insane where everything revolves around gambling, where before it seemed to be around beer, girls, dating, and that seems to be less than. Now everything seems to be about vaping, krypton, and sports betting. And all of it's done pretty much, and you can get it done so easily. I mean, we're talking about the vaping and the krypton, you can get that as a synthetic at a convenience store. I mean, politicians don't know or understand anything about addiction, and they don't understand anything about how manipulatives. They think they're just getting all this extra tax revenue to help pay for whatever. And in essence, they're losing a lot of tax revenue because people are not pursuing other things. They're pursuing these so-called sin tax. And here's the thing, you're never going to win gambling, you're never going to get anywhere if you're constantly high in however form. And what I want people to do is enjoy the football season. There's nothing like the start of a school year. There's nothing like the start of a football season. There's nothing like practicing, lifting weights, running. I was a tight end, doing routes or hitting the sled, getting yourself in physical condition, getting yourself mentally prepared, enjoying the Friday night lights, enjoying the glory when you actually do something well on the football field, or afterwards at the games or the homecoming dance. Enjoy all that, or as you pursue something in the playoffs. There's a lot of value in that. Especially, there's nothing like being in a football locker room and you're all together and you actually have to truly perform as a team. There's 11 players on a field and you learn so many lessons. And football can be so much fun, but now it's devolved into so much, everything is around money. And not just the gambling, even now at the high school level with NIL or college. And again, I don't have a problem with people making money because high schools, colleges were constantly abusing athletes, and they deserve to have money, especially if they're the reason that people are spending money at the stadium, buying tickets, paying for parking, buying Cokes, beer, hot dogs, popcorn. They deserve money. The same thing, high school. There's a reason people get People like being around athletes, especially in the same thing. People like being around musicians or actors. You know, when you have a skill in the arts or in the sports, you should pursue that and push it out there. But here again, we're talking about the football season. Enjoy the football season. You should enjoy each season, whether we're in the spring, summer, winter, and now fall. There's nothing like it. Right here in Houston, it's hot, 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 hot. Houston, hot August. It's going to be hot the rest of the month. Uh, but it's also this hope, this energy to move ahead and what will take place. What do you got going on? There's a lot going on. I got things that I'm going to be accomplishing, new goals this week. But right now we're talking about football. We're talking about don't gamble. It's all rigged against you. To enjoy life, enjoy teamwork, enjoy the people around you, and move forward. With that, we're going to end this episode of the 1% in Recovery.